Well, what a hard-fought game, and defensive battle. Monroe could have easily won the game, and without a blink of the eye, that they competed, they played to win, and they deserve a lot of credit for how well they played. I thought they played a very good game, and really they're very similar to us, and they're a very good defensive team. They fight for everything. They're good in possession-oriented games. So we felt like a lot of times we're playing against ourselves out there. So hats off to Monroe for their great effort, but our guys have a good quality. All right, we find a way, and we have great toughness. And those were the two things that stood out today. We left some plays out there and everything else, and maybe we get by a game like this. It's meant to be to come out tomorrow. But really proud of the guys' effort. Really proud we did not get rattled when we were down and things didn't go our way. And it's great leadership that kept us together and helped us find a way towards the end.
Questions for the student athletes? Hold up your hand and we'll get a mic to you. In front.
Curtis, can you talk about that three-pointer you hit toward the end of the game, the long rebound? Ferguson got the rebound and sent it out. You got the ball and you stood there for a second. I guess you were expecting someone for Monroe to come up and defend you, and everyone just kind of laid back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Eric been getting rebounds for us all season. He got a big one there. He threw it back out to me. Of course, I'm expecting somebody to guard me. And, like, everybody on my team trusted me. And when I was open, like Coach say, and everybody on the team say, shoot if you open. So shot it, had confidence. My team had confidence in me, and it went in.
Questioned? In the back.
Jelani, I know this is your 5th year. I've been close before, been through a couple of tournaments. How does it feel now being in that final step, just one game away?
It feels great. Just it being my senior year and being able to play for, a championship. Us and these seniors on the team, man, we're so resilient and we want to win so bad. And, I just got to tip my hat off to my teammates, man. They did a great job tonight of just being resilient, making the extra play, just scrapping, getting defensive stops. So, we really want to win bad. And to do that, you have to do the little things, and that's getting stops, getting rebounds. And I think we did that tonight.
In front.
When y'all were down by 7, Coach called the timeout. What did he say to y'all in that timeout that helped you rally?
Down. What he always say. What he always say. Our mantra is find a way. So it's a game of runs. So we don't panic as a team, and as a coaching staff, they don't panic. So we look at them and we look at their face and their emotions, and they're confident throughout the whole game, and that gives us confidence.
What are your thoughts for tomorrow's matchup against R.J. Hunter?
Can't wait.
Any more questions right here?
Curtis, at the end of the game there, ULM's driving down the right side. You're going up. What are your thoughts on? Do you think were you thinking the ref was going to call something, or were you confident in a good play?
Are you talking about the last play of the game? One thing is I can't worry about the rest. I can't worry about anything with the rest. I knew in that moment, I said, look, let me make sure I don't foul, wall up, and hopefully it'll take care of itself. So, and that's what we did. And even a couple of my teammates helped me wall up. But it went our way tonight. That's all I got to say.
One more. At the end, I saw Angel talking to all y'all when you were going off the bench. What was he saying to you guys?
Angel's a great leader. He's one of the main guys and one of the guys I've seen ever in my life with the most passion. He even if he's not out there, it feels like he's out there because you always hearing his voice on the court or whatever. So he's saying, we glad that we won, but we not done. That's what he said. He said we not done. Don't, we stay. We know what our goals are. So he keeping us, level.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Curtis, Jelani, thank you for your time. You are dismissed, okay, and we will continue with more questions for head coach Mark Byington. In front.
Can you go over the defense that you called for that final play when Robertson, not the final play, but the next to final play when he stepped out of bounds?
Yeah, we we actually lined up in one look, and then we called a timeout, and we showed a man look when we came out of timeout, and then we decided to go into a zone look that has a matchup quality to it. So we switched from man-to-man to a matchup zone.
Questions?
Can you talk about the timeout with when you were down by 7? What you told the guys?
Yeah, I mean, there was still a lot of time, and what I didn't like is a couple of times we were rushing the game, and the game just wasn't going to allow that to be today. You weren't going to get out and get easy baskets. That we had to just stay the course. It always is a game of runs. We had to get some stops, and we made some big plays. Jelani made a great drive and dropped it off to Eric Ferguson. I thought was a great momentum dunk for us. Kind of showed the guys that we're back. But even before that, Jelani drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line to calm us down. That helped out. And then Curtis Diamond's shot was big. And it's one of those as a coach that you're sitting there, he's so wide open. Those are sometimes harder to make than the ones that when you're guarded. So it's probably the only good look we got all night, and I'm thankfully made it.
Coach, what are the things last weekend in the season finale in Atlanta? What are the things you have to do tomorrow that you didn't do in Atlanta to beat Georgia State?
Well, we got to play with better poise, and we did that. Probably like the last 10 minutes of the first half and the first 10 in the second half, but the opening 10 and the last 10 we didn't, and we let things outside our circumstances bother us. So. Just telling the guys after that game, that's a growing and learning experience. It was the last regular season game, but that wasn't our last game. So hopefully we learn from it. We know we're playing a very good team, very talented team, very well-coached team. They're familiar with us, and we're familiar with them. They're besides App State, they're the only Sun Belt team we played last year. So it should be a heck of a game. Two teams from Georgia going at it, and two teams that definitely want to win it. I know they came up short last year, and we haven't had the opportunity. So two teams that desperately want to win it.
Back here.
Coach, early in the second half there, not only with the deficit that you guys had, but only scoring 3 points there in the first 6-7 minutes, how important was it to have the number of seniors that you have on this team able to get your team through that?
Yeah, that start to second half was painful. Eric made a big three, and if he didn't make that, I mean, it would have been a huge drought. And, scoring against them is difficult. And it's just, we tried doing everything from ball screens to screeners to all kinds of different actions, and hopefully something was going to leak. But it really never did. And we just stayed the course. And for those guys to be in that moment, and it's new for a lot of guys in their career, but not this season. Now, this season, we've been in that moment a good amount. We've came back a lot from halftime deficits. We came back and won games that we've been down late. So just had to remind them that, guys, we've been here before, and we know what we got to do. I wanted to make an emphasis on the defensive end, and I just told them we'll make enough plays on offense to win the game if we get stops.
Those things in Atlanta, the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes that you said bothered the team, I assume you're talking about the crowd and perhaps some of the calls, things that might be a little bit different tomorrow. Is that accurate?
You know what? Ref in the game and everything else, it's a hard game to ref. And, we did not respond. We weren't tough enough. So we did not respond to how tough we had to be, how strong we had to be with the ball. We were turning it over for points, and that led to them getting easy baskets. And it was an incredible environment. It was their senior night, and it was a lot on the line. It was the regular season championship, and I thought we were ready to play. I thought we competed, but I thought we got knocked off our feet a little bit early. And then we got it to, I think it was 38-34 in the second half, and then they went on a big run. So then they finished the deal. So they outplayed us by a lot. So even with the environment and anything else, they outplayed us that day.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Very, very hard played game by both teams. I want to compliment both teams on the defensive effort. It was tremendous. I know you as a spectator or a writer might not like that kind of basketball, but let me assure you, there was a lot going on the defensive end with both teams, and it's marvelous to watch as a defensive coach. So I think. So I'm really happy about our team on that end of the floor and complimenting Georgia Southern on that end of the floor as well. Possession game comes down to critical plays late. We've been there numerous times this year. I'm disappointed in the last 3 or 4 minutes of our play on the offensive end. I didn't think we played very smart, which is my fault. We turned the ball over. We stepped out of bounds twice. We turned it over on the break. We fouled a guy on the three-point line. Numerous blunders, or just enough, 3 or 4 or 5 blunders in a low possession game you can't have to not get a shot at the basket. And so I'm disappointed in that. I don't know if Justin got fouled at the end there or not. I couldn't tell, but we'll look at it on film. But anyway, that's the way it goes.
Questions?
Hey, Keith, in the first half, you guys trailed by, you went 9.5 minutes without scoring a bucket, but I had to feel relatively close. It was still a 2-point ball.
Well, we've had those droughts all year, and it's not new for us. You don't like to have them, and you don't want them, but it's perked up on us all year long. And fortunately for us, we're a good enough defensive team to hang in there during those droughts, and we did that again. I mean, what you saw there tonight, Gene, was really our team. It's kind of who we are. whether you like it or not, that's kind of who we are. And it's a shame because we've won that same game 6 or 7 times this year, and tonight we didn't.
We're joined now by student athlete Nick Capola. Questions for Nick?
And Nick, obviously a disappointing way to end a run here in the tournament. But when you look back on kind of even the season in its totality, what you were all able to do, plus coming down here and playing well for the most part, what will you remember then, about this year?
Definitely our improvement from last year to this year. Remember that and build off it for next year.
We're also joined by Jamal Samuel. Questions for Nick or Jamal?
How big is it for each of you to know that you're a part of the biggest turnaround in school history, the first 20-game winning season in, I think it was 11 years, kind of going forward, knowing that y'all each have several more years to go at ULM?
Definitely, like I said, just a step from last year. Feels good to take a step forward, but we still have other goals we want to accomplish.
Yeah, like Nick said, definitely great. Me being my first year here, and Coach Reshaw starting to turn things around at the university, and just to be a part of that, that's a big thing.
Cool. Can we bring a mic to you, Gene?
Yeah, always.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Nick, can you talk about those last couple of minutes like Keith did as it relates to their defensive pressure and having a couple of point-blank shots at a basket and not seeing them fall and those little turnovers that Coach talked about as well?
That was definitely a big part of the game. Down the stretch, we didn't make plays, and they did. So it's really that was the game.
Questions for the student athletes? Nick, Jamal, thank you for your time. We will dismiss you, and then we will continue on with more questions for Coach Richard.
Coach, if you could go into as much as you can the play before the final play when when Robertson stepped out of bounds. What was that play supposed to be?
Well, we ran a a play for Nick to get we move it from side to side, and then an on-ball screen for him by Jamal Samuel. Jamal picking and popping. Really what we were looking for is Majuk on the low block crossing the lane from block to block. And Nick didn't see him. He was there. You know, that was what we were trying to do. Nick didn't see him and ended up forcing a contested shot. And that's why he was open, is because the middleman in their zone had to step up. And I had a good angle, and I don't know that Nick had quite the angle I did, you know, and that's why he shot it up there. But that was the play we were trying to run.
Questions for Coach?
Keith, you know, Coach Byington was up here talking about how he felt like you guys are maybe kind of mirror images of each other, you know, with being, you know, kind of grinded out defensive teams. You know, I wanted to get your thoughts on that and see if maybe you agreed with his sentiment as well.
Well, we're really alike. We're really alike. I think that the one thing that worried me coming into the game was that I thought they were a little better three-point shooting team than us. That they make a few more, and that I was hoping that wouldn't be the difference in the game. And I think their last score was a three-point shot, was it? And you know, the kid hit one out there for Wayne. We got messed up in transition and didn't take him. But very, very similar. Very similar. They do it a little different way than we do it in terms of the type of defense, but it's the same in general, in theory, you know, and which is try to keep the ball in front of you and make it hard and contest shots and rebound and, you know, those type things. And so very, very similar.
And from your vantage point there on the bench, on one of those diamond threes, the one where it looked like it could have gone either way, whether it would have been a shot clock violation or not, did you guys think that he got it off in time, or what were you thinking there?
Well, no, the referee told me, I mean, I thought it was a shot clock at the time, but I mean, he told me they looked at it at timeout, and it wasn't a shot clock violation, so.
Question for Coach?
If you don't want to give your take on the championship game, I understand, but I was just going to ask how you see tomorrow playing.
Well, I just think that it's going to be very close, and I think the reason I say that is because of both of them defenses. You know, we're us and Georgia Southern are actually the top three defensive teams in the league are Georgia State, Louisiana Monroe, and Georgia Southern in any order on a lot of the stats. Us three. So I think you're going to see another close barn burner, low scoring tomorrow.
Coach in the back, with such a great turnaround this season, would you like to see your team rewarded maybe with CIT or CBI play to be able to keep this run going?
I would. I think we've been in conversations with them. You know, they've been keeping tabs on us the last 2 weeks. And so we'll see what happens. But I certainly think this team, you know, deserves some type of postseason play.
Questions for Coach? Thank you for your time.
Okay.